Hi, welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot. It is October 18th. So, wowzers. It's as if you think it just can't. They can't be any stupider. And then they are. And then they just are. Isn't that magical, honestly? All right, I'm going to do a series, I think, of 4, maybe 5 questions. It's Friday, so I want to do a bit of a wrap-up of the week that was. And, just see if we can get any further insights, guidance, help, suggestions, little snippets of sanity, whatever it is the universe would like to bring forward. All right, come on down. We're going to get started quick. All right, so first question is going to be, impeachment inquiry, impeachment inquiry, impeachment inquiry. Okay, so here we have the White House, carrying on, trying to conduct business as usual, or perhaps I should say trying to conduct corruption as usual. The quid pro quos, multiple, are becoming more and more blatant and more obvious. There's going to be more of them that come out. There's probably going to be a few more whistleblower type, maybe not whistleblowers, but, people coming forward to testify that maybe we haven't heard of before, or a little bit, not as public in terms of their jobs and what they do within the government, but that's going on. The truth is coming at the White House so fast that they cannot even figure out which way to pivot and spin, like honestly. And that's how come you get this crazy mixed messaging going on and all of the, I say it and then I take it back and then let's just pretend I didn't say it in the first place nonsense. Okay? But ultimately, this is the inquiry I'm asking about. So ultimately, the inquiry is going to succeed. It is going to accomplish its hope. It is going to provide the information and guidance necessary for people to become informed. And by people, I am talking about the citizens of the United States. And once that happens, this thing is going to start moving, forward. They're not going to be able to fight back. They're going to get to a point, the Trump and the administration, they're going to get to a point where literally every time they open their mouth, it's either so obvious that they're covering stuff up. I mean, not that it isn't already, or so obvious that they're just spinning stories. They're just lying. They just don't know what's going on. And part of the reason that they're stuck in this spot they're stuck in is because it's all about the money. All of it. It's all about leveraging. It's all about corruption. It is all about lining individual pockets. It is about trying to it really is as if, in some ways, Trump is just trying to feather his nest as much as he can. So when this is said and done, he has a bunch of friends in a bunch of high places. That's not going to work out so well for him. It's really, really not. Is he going to be impeached? Yes. Are there going to be articles of impeachment? Yes. and certainly more than one, somewhere between 3 and 5, I'm going to say. Is he going to be removed from office? Well, that's a little bit too far in the future for me to guess. But given this and this and this, it's not looking so good for him actually staying in office. You have an offer being made to him. You have people coming together and working almost like against him. So this literally could be Republicans crossing the aisle because they can't justify or explain anymore what he does. And look at, here comes Trump's Tower moment, and he goes into retreat and he leaves in disgrace. And, you know, he's going to do the best he can to get out of this mess, except he's actually not good at getting out of messes. And so that's not looking really so great for him. Okay, so let's switch gears and let's just have a wee little bit of a look at Pompeo and Mulvaney. Mick, just get over it, Mulvaney. Love that. All right. And Pompeo, who is now, you know, it's being reported that he just feels a little bit picked on, you know. He doesn't like all of this negative attention, and he doesn't like the way people are questioning how he's running his State Department and why he isn't sticking up for his people. I mean, the poor little fella, he really, really feels like he's just been treated unfairly. Can you imagine? All right, I want to take a look at both of them. You know, Barr is in this up to his neck. There are other players, you know, Giuliani. But the bottom line is, for right now, I'm just going to focus on Mulvaney and Pompeo because they both seem to be kind of attracting attention to themselves. Pompeo, by not talking, by refusing to answer every single question that's asked to him, he has a condescending, you know, smart-ass attitude, which, you know, obviously is exactly what you're looking for in a Secretary of State representing the government. And then, of course, you have Mulvaney, who does that press conference yesterday afternoon, admits all kinds of stuff, basically says that's how business is done, so just suck it up. And then, you know, has to walk it back. Well, of course, you know, after you make a bunch of statements like that, you can't exactly walk it back because people heard exactly what you said. But that's one of the cool things about the Trump administration is they continue to delude themselves into thinking that if I say the apple is green here, I can come out 10 minutes later and say, I did not say the apple is green. That doesn't work so well. All right. Mulvaney and Pompeo, Mulvaney and Pompeo, Mulvaney and Pompeo. Okay. Kind of says it all. They're feeling picked on. They're feeling like they have to defend themselves. They're feeling, you know, that they've been kind of pushed as far as they can be pushed, but they have nowhere to maneuver to. Trump, as you know, this is one of my cards for Trump, is pushing and pushing and pushing because, frankly, that is all he knows how to do. He knows how to be a bully. Okay, not an effective one and not a smart one, but he knows how to do that. And so there's a lot of behind the scenes yelling, screaming, pushing back, demanding answers, demanding things get done and accomplished. And, you know, it really is getting to a point where at some point they're both going to have to decide that their partnership with greatness maybe isn't doing so well for them. And just maybe they're going to be very, very harshly judged about what that was and what that looked like. So at some point, do we think that they're actually going to do an assessment of what is going on around them, start thinking about their own reputations, their own role, their own place within the government, and break with him? And, you know, it's definitely causing a lot of stress, a lot of worry, a lot of anxiety. They are not stupid. I'm not saying they're really brilliant either, and I'm not saying they're corrupt as the day is long. But what I am saying is that they're not completely ignorant of how things work, as Trump is. So even though they're putting on this ridiculously brave front that everybody is seeing through, there is still a great deal of worry and stress going on behind the scenes because they understand there is nowhere for them to maneuver. They're hanging on right now. They're hanging on as best they can to sort of keep the narrative going in the direction they want it to go. It's not working for them. It's just not working for them. And soon you're going to see cracks, right? I mean, you've already seen a couple where, you know, Giuliani said something, and then Mulvaney yesterday said something, and the State Department pushed back and said, we don't know what he's talking about, and that, you know, that isn't the way it was. So there's a lot going on, but part of what Pompeo doesn't understand is the more he refuses to answer questions, the worse he makes it, not only for himself, but the more people are going to come out against him to try to set the record straight, because he's obviously not capable of doing it himself. As far as Mulvaney goes, I'm not exactly sure if this is recoverable for him. I'm really not at all sure. And, you know, this is the thing, right? There's so much stuff. There's so much behind the scenes. There is so much that has yet to be discovered and uncovered that we really don't even have a particularly clear or good handle on exactly how deep this corruption goes, how widespread it is, and all the countries that are involved. But the truth is coming. The truth is coming, and a lot is going to be uncovered. A lot is going to be uncovered. Okay, so you've got the truth coming. You've got things that were kept secrets coming to light. You have the sword of truth here. You have the inquiry. You have people investigating. You have all kinds of stuff going on. And eventually there is literally leaving in defeat. They will have lost their position. All right, Syria. Oh my goodness, what a devastating, devastating situation that is. It's horrendous. You know, 300,000 people, I think they said, misplaced or displaced. Sorry, displaced. You've got Trump completely and totally capitulating to everything Erdogan wanted, which of course is what Putin wanted. So that's a bit of a problem. You know, there are civilian casualties. There are Americans stuck there. They're still trying to figure out how to get out. I did not know this until yesterday, but there are Canadians there who are trying to figure out how to get out. So it's not a good situation. It is such a horrendous black mark on not only, unfortunately, not only on Trump and the Trump administration, but it is a black mark on the United States. And so that is a sad thing, because this is not going to be something that you can recover from quickly or easily simply by changing the occupant of the White House. Okay? Kurds, Syria, Turkey. Kurds, Syria, Turkey. Kurds, Turkey, Syria. I think I reversed that somehow, but it's okay. Oh my Lord. Okay. Literally, Trump is the gift that just keeps on giving. It just keeps on giving. He is like a puppet on a string when it comes to these dictators and strongmen. He completely capitulates to them. They have all figured it out. They all have stuff on him. They all have demands that they're making, and they're demanding that those demands be met and accomplished because they understand that Trump is almost sure to not get into office again. But more, they're actually starting to be concerned about the speed with which the inquiry is uncovering stuff with the way stuff is coming to a head. And they're now starting to think, oh my God, you know what? We don't have another year of manipulating him. We better get everything from him that we can get from him before he crashes. And so he will. Was that not just the same card that came up under the inquiry question about how that's going? Interesting. I guess you can only say that that tower moment for Trump is getting closer and closer and closer. So, Syria, unfortunately, and the Kurds have been left in the middle of this horrible situation and this incredible destruction. You know, the United States worked so hard to try to keep peace in that region. They did not have a big footprint there, but with the small footprint, working with the Kurds, they were able to keep that place in, relative calm. Come on, there's been wars going on there for forever. I'm not saying it was a walk in the garden, but they were able, if nothing else, to keep Turkey back. And with everything that Trump has handed over and given them, my goodness, the dictators of the world, the strongmen of the world are literally dancing in their streets. Their cup runneth over. It's as simple as that. Across the sea, people read him, they understand him, and they now have, it's almost like a template or a manual of the 5 steps you have to take to completely get Trump to, 1, believe you, and 2, capitulate. It's remarkable. It's just remarkable. The situation is going to get worse. The ceasefire is not really a ceasefire. There are still explosions going on, still, guns being shot. I don't know what all the artillery stuff. There is still stuff flying in to that Kurdish area, okay? And there are going to be deaths. And unfortunately, not only are there going to be deaths sort of all around, but I actually do see perhaps American blood on foreign soil. So it's devastating, but I kind of would not be surprised at this point to hear of loss of American lives. The judgment of the world has already happened. It's done. It's like baked into the cake, okay? They see his ideas. They see his attitudes. They see the way he does things, the way he is simply an agent of destruction. The judgment has been made by other world leaders on his behavior. And they are pushing him out into the cold. They are pushing Trump away. And they are, going to do everything they can to just I don't know, box them in, keep them quiet, move them to the other side. So Syria is not looking good. You know, there might be another attempt at a bit of a ceasefire. There might be an attempt at sort of another kind of pause. It doesn't matter. I'm sorry, it doesn't matter. The damage has been done. Lives are going to be lost. And the only people that win is Turkey and Russia. Yeah. It's devastating, but it is not going to be a good, there's not going to be a good result, I suppose, unless you're Erdogan. I mean, Trump literally sort of just agreed to an ethnic cleansing. Yesterday, he actually said the statement that that area where the Kurds are needed to be cleaned out. Are you kidding me? Like, are you kidding me? Does this man have not one iota of a brain in his head that he would make that statement publicly and on camera? It is like not only did he open the door for Turkey, he rolled out the welcome mat and he put up some balloons and streamers and welcome signs. He completely betrayed the Kurdish people in Syria. And the bottom line here is it's not going to be forgiven fast. And the recovery on this is going to take a very, very long time. Whoever the next president is, it's going to be incredibly important that he choose his State Department officials really carefully, because they are going to be the ones tasked with trying to, you know, fix this. All right. Durrell. Let's just look at that golf course. And Trump flat out, openly and bluntly saying, yeah, you know what? I'm going to completely ignore the emoluments clause in the Constitution. That has nothing to do with me. That has to do with the rest of the world. I'm special. And, you know, he's doing it in public, flat out loud. And Mulvaney kept saying something sort of interesting yesterday from what I saw. And it was a lot of, he's not going to make any profit. He's not going to make any profit. So therefore, it doesn't matter. Well, you know what? The American Constitution does not say an emolument is profit. It says emoluments of any kind. So it doesn't matter whether or not he makes money on it, which of course you know he is going to, and you know he is stuffing that money straight into his pocket, because that Durrell is not doing well financially. It has become a real like cash strain, right? It's costing way more to run than he's bringing in. So that place is in a little bit of financial trouble from what I understand. So let's just take a look and just see if Durrell is actually going to end up being where the next G7 is going to be. And make no mistake, if Trump is still around and he continues to, I don't know when the next G7 is, so I'm kind of like a little wishy-washy here about timing. But if he's around, you can bet your bottom dollar he is going to turn it into a G8, because one of the things that he wants to do is sort of push back on the fact that Russia was removed. He doesn't think it was fair. I mean, for goodness sakes, people, all Russia did was invade another country and steal their land. Why does that have to be such a big deal? In fact, heck, you don't need to look any further than Turkey to see that absolutely this is something and a kind of behavior that Trump totally is good with. Durrell Golf Club. Durrell Golf Club. Durrell Golf Club. do not be surprised as this talk continues to sort of start to hear little murmurings from other countries saying, if we comply with this, we are literally doing something that is not in line with the American Constitution. We are fundamentally disrespecting the will of the American people and the Constitution. So there's actually going to be a little bit of pushback about this. It is going to be quiet. It is going to be going on behind the scenes, but there's definitely going to be pushback from other countries, you know, the other 6 countries that are involved in this. So that's kind of going to be interesting to see. But the question really is Trump going to be able to actually make this happen? Doesn't look like it. Okay? It doesn't look like it. There is loss coming. There's a change coming, a change of fortune coming. He's trying to move his fortune in one direction, and it's, you know, it's going in the opposite direction. There's loss, there's bitterness, and the partnerships that he is trying to, you know, trying to create with that kind of a G7 thing at Doral, it's not going to work out for him. It's going to backfire. Everybody can see it as a money grab. Everybody is going to decide that this isn't a good idea. Except for, of course, you know, the Jim Jordans, the, you know, Matt Gaetz, the whoever the other ones are. You know, they're going to be running around, and they're going to specifically listen for them to say things like, he's not making any profit, it doesn't count. Well, you know what? The Constitution says nothing about profit. And so, as usual, they are splitting hairs and trying to come up with a narrative that will help them escape the crazy. Really, really fast now. I've hit on Trump, honestly, in just about every one of these other questions. He had a rally last night. I think it was in Texas somewhere. I don't know. Frankly, I don't know how that turned out or how it went. But let's just take a quick look and see what we can expect from Trump, literally like over the weekend. Okay, it's almost gotten to the point where you can't look at it any further than that, because he's as erratic, you know, as a leaf in a windstorm. All right, Trump. Okay. Don't be surprised if there is another sort of bombshell reporting that has something to do with his financial dealings, with money, with corruption, with holding funds, giving funds, trying to extort funds. There's going to be a little bit more that comes out on that. And I'm saying, you know, probably within the next few days. Again, overseas deals and interactions and connections with other world leaders are going to continue to come to light. The secrets are coming out. You know, the rose-colored glasses have been taken off, and people can start to see with real clarity what they haven't been able to see before. And I'm not talking about you viewers, because you see with great clarity. I'm talking about other people who maybe are not quite as attentive to this situation. Things are going to start happening very, very quickly. I'm not sure what's going on with this Eight of Wands sitting right here in terms of this weekend. You have this, again, you've got secrets coming out, right? The Hierophant, or the Hermit and the Moon. That's about, you know, oh, there we go. Look for extreme emotional swings. Do not be surprised if there isn't an insane Twitter explosion. How many times has this tower showed up in this group of readings? And of course, you've got the Eight of Swords talking about restriction, you know, not having a way to move. He's feeling boxed in, and he's going to lash out with every bit of his presidential authority and will that he can muster. It's not going to work so well for him. There's a lot of information apparently that looks like it's coming out about partnerships, about dealings with other people, about relationships perhaps that should not actually be as friendly or as cozy as they are, given, you know, his position as President of the United States. So, bumpy weekend with Trump. Look out for a couple more explosions, a few more tower moments. You know, that tower came up so often that I'm starting to wonder if there isn't something really dramatic that's going to happen literally within the next handful of days. So let's keep our eyes open for that. All right. Interesting. Okay. That's it for now. I've rambled on, and I'm really trying to get these things shorter, except they keep going longer because it's so insane. All right. Again, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for the support, the comments, the thumbs up. The subscriptions are doing really, really well. I'm so excited. And, you know, just hang in there. It's coming down. And the more it comes down, the crazier it's going to get, because he's being pushed from all sides. So, enjoy the weekend. It definitely looks like it's going to be kind of an interesting one. And I'm going to be taking the weekend off. I will see you Monday. And as usual, if anything really insane happens, you know, look for me. I'll be putting out another video. Until then, enjoy the weekend. Hopefully you have some sun where you are and nice weather. Until next time, take care. Be well. And I'll see you soon. Bye.